1 year ago, I made a video where I ranked every song from the classic era of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, seasons 1 through 7. I made that video because the show has left such an impact on my life that I wanted to have a chance to talk about it. From the days of recreating my favorite episodes with my toys to making up my own stories, the show has taught me to imagine and be creative. I'll always be grateful for the show, but of course the show would not have existed if it wasn't for one woman, and that woman being Britt Allcroft. Britt took the original books from the Reverend Wilbert Awdry and successfully brought them to television screens around the world. With her vision and her incredible team, she is a big reason why Thomas is remembered and so beloved by both children and even adults to this day, which is why many are celebrating the franchise's 80th anniversary this year. It was her enthusiasm and creativity that has influenced countless people, including myself, to go out and create something for themselves, which is something I'll always hold dear. Thank you, Britt. So to carry on this little tradition that I've started by accident, I'm going to be ranking every song from Thomas the Tank Engine of the HiT era. Because I have an older audience, now I have to explain. The TV show was owned by Britt Allcroft and her company, but after the disappointing performance of Thomas and the Magic Railroad, Britt had to step down. For a time, the new show's owner would be a company called Ghislaine, before eventually being bought out by HiT Entertainment in 2002. Once the agreement was set, HiT Entertainment went out of its way to revamp the show. For the revamp, the show went through many changes. You name it. New writers, new staff, new theme song, new tone, and of course, new music. This was all to make Thomas appeal to an even younger demographic. Now, this specific era of the show is still widely divided amongst the fan base. However, I will say I do have a bit of a soft spot for it because technically this is the era I grew up with. So there is a bit of nostalgia is what's keeping me from actually calling this era absolute trash, although I still can see the flaws, no doubt about it. Just like before, numerous music videos were produced throughout this era's run. Since the original composers Michael O'Donnell and Junior Campbell were not brought back to compose for the show, another person was brought in to write the songs. For the actual episodes, the score was done by Robert Hartshorne, and for the actual music videos, the songs were written by a guy named Ed Welch. So this time we have 33 songs, just 2 more from last time. Well, it's going to be an interesting one, so go ahead, sit back, relax, and let's just jump right in and rank every HiT era song of Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. And coming in at the very bottom, we have oh boy, do I need to say anything else? This song sums up all my problems I have with this era's music and just the show in general. The classic era appealed to kids, but it never talked down to them. But this piece of shit goes way beyond pandering. We went from this to this.
What makes an engine happy? What makes an engine sad?
This is so lame. The banjo in the beginning makes this really corny off the bat, and just the theme is just plain stupid. Do I really care what makes an engine happy? Besides, the answers they give are no-brainers.
Running out of water, yes, it makes an engine sad.
Duh! The song as a whole is just so bland, and there's just nothing about it that makes me happy, I'll tell you that. This song is at the bottom because to me, it's a prime example of taking a mature piece of children's entertainment and turning it into just another generic baby show. Number 32. H is for Harold. It has always been confusing to me that we have a second song about Harold the helicopter. We already had a masterpiece before, so why do we need another one? The original song was a great showcase for Harold, as it gave him superhero vibes and just made him sound like a courageous character in general. So, does this song capitalize on that? Not one bit. It's this boring, soft acoustic ballad. Normally I like something like that, but it just doesn't fit Harold at all, and the lyrics just annoy the crap out of me.
F is for friendship and flying and free.
Why are we including elements of learning the alphabet? While not the worst sounding song I ever heard, just on the principle of being a massive downgrade from a better song is enough to put it this low. Number 31. Party Time. Boy, I wish. Now this is a more upbeat song, and if you like that, then you might enjoy it. For me, I just find it annoying. I don't like that drum sound pounding on my ear from the majority of the song, and the chorus is just pretty obnoxious. Again, this is just Thomas just watered down and pandering to the lowest denominator. Also, another thing about this era's songs is, and this is kind of a more recent discovery for me, because when I was a kid I didn't mind, but just the sound of the choir sounds a bit off. Like, there's just a manufactured tone to it, which is not bad, but it's just something off-putting that I found kind of distracting. And that's something that kind of goes on throughout the majority of these songs. Bottom line, song's annoying, let's move on. Also, that guitar solo ain't it, fam. Number 30. Favorite place. Okay, another bland, forgettable song that I always forget even exists. It's just one of those songs about having a favorite place, and it's just as boring as I describe it. Also, I have no idea why there's a tropical theme with this one.
Everybody likes to have a little space somewhere.
And I'm gonna be straight up, there's gonna be a lot of these songs where I'm really not gonna have much to say, because there's really nothing the song gives me in terms of material. It's just a song that exists, so let's just keep it moving. 29. Day and Night. Oh boy, a song about the difference between day and night. And I can definitely say I definitely want to fall asleep after hearing this one. Again, it's not bad, but there's really nothing extraordinary about that's even worth talking about. It's listenable, better than the last one, but I'll never come back to the song willingly. Moving on. Number 28. The narrow gauge engines. Okay, this one kind of irritates me because I love the Skarloey Railway characters. The episodes featuring this little railway were always big highlights, especially during the classic era of the show. But by the time we get to this era...
Whee! Puffs Skarloey as he raced down the hill.
It's a joke. These characters act like children, so therefore the song reflects on that this is specifically made for children. You know, it's one of those songs where it just states the obvious, like, yes, they're the narrow gauge engines, they have small track, here are the characters, and then it just rinses and repeats. It's nothing amazing, but you know, I guess it's a more upbeat track that's not annoying, but still, just the fact that it is just a disservice to these classic characters is what really grinds my gears, and so therefore it is pretty low down here. Moving on yet again. 27. There is always something new. Yep, this one's gonna be brief yet again. I really don't have much to say with this one. It's another song that moseys down the line, no pun intended, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. I will say it's more tolerable than the other songs, but that's not saying much. This song does highlight a couple destinations and characters that were new at the time, although over half the characters mentioned would become irrelevant not long after. It's okay, I guess. It's ranked higher than the other songs, so take that for what you will. Number 26. Doing It Right. Yep, another song that sounds fun. Look, I'm really trying to come up with something creative here, but there's really nothing. It's the most basic moral you can think of just doing things right. Don't mess up. Number 25. Togetherness. Okay, so this one's interesting because this is an example of a song I remember liking a lot more when I was a kid, but as an adult, it kind of falls flat. I feel the only reason I cared for this song back then was because it spotlighted Edward and Henry, two of my favorite characters. Now looking at the song as an adult, nostalgia wears off fairly quickly. The song does have a fun feel musically, not a bad melody. I will say the song does get rather repetitive. There's really isn't a variety in the lyrics, and again, it just states the obvious. Edward helps Henry up the hill, and that's pretty much it. Overall, there is a silver of nostalgia I have for this song, but I rarely think of this song really at all these days. Well, as you can tell, this era has quite a bit of stinkers, but I will say it does get better. And right now we are entering the slightly okay songs. Like, they're not like forgettable. I wouldn't say they're like masterpieces or anything, but you know, if I play them, I'm not gonna hate myself for it. Number 24. A World Around You. As a kid, I remember hearing this song on the Songs from the Station DVD, and I remember liking it. As an adult now, while there's some parts I like, there is one thing I'm not a fan of. The positives are that I like the vibe it goes for. There's something calming about it, and I think it's pretty effective, and it reflects the theme of the song pretty well. It's a song about taking a minute to look at the world and take in the beauty. Something I think we all need to do once in a while. With that all said, my only gripe is this part. Yeah, that is just really corny. I don't know, man. It just takes me out of the song personally. Still, it's a song I still have fond memories of, and yeah, not bad. Number 23. Number 23, Together. Didn't I already talk about a song with Together in the name? Anyway, now we get to the penultimate song from Calling All Engines, and it's pretty nice. Okay, there's nothing flashy about it, but it's another one I have fond memories of. It's another one of those tracks where I really like the vibe they're going for. It does a solid job to wrap up the special and put you in a good mood. While very nice overall, there is one line that makes me chuckle a little bit. I guess the song is pretty much saying that Thomas is basically a prophet, so I can't deny that. Number 22. Brave. I'll give this song this. It's at least doing something different. This one goes for a kind of more military-esque style, which does make it stand out a little more. The thing is, I'm personally not a fan of that horn sound. It sounds kind of dinky to my ears. With that gripe out of the way, I do like the cadence the song uses. Like I said, the military feel makes this a lot more memorable. This might be a hot take, but I can see Mike and Jr. writing something in this vein during like season 7 or something like that. I still wouldn't have ranked that very high if they did, but just an observation. And you know, the moral is pretty fine. You know, it's basically about, you know, being brave, taking on challenges, overcoming fears, stuff like that, which, you know, fair enough. I don't mind that. But overall, it's a pretty solid song. I don't go listen to it very often, but you know, it's pretty okay. So it gives like a little, I guess a side thumbs up, if you will. Number 21, The Dream Song. Now this one is pretty interesting because it was originally written for the Calling All Engines special, but for some reason they decided to cut it out. For years, I never even knew this song even existed. It was actually a more recent discovery for me. When I actually sat down and listened to it for the first time, my immediate thoughts was, geez, this song's kind of fucked up. At first it starts off nice enough. Usually kids' songs about dreams are calming and relaxing, all meant to put you to sleep, kind of calm you down. And the song does begin with that feel, and the children singing does a nice job, but then it quickly changes.
Have a try, go and take a shine. Roll up, have a throw, have you had a go?
So yeah, it completely changes to a demented circus vibe where it shows different characters in hellish scenarios. To explain, in the special, some characters have nightmares on what could potentially happen to them if the Sodor airport is not complete and are deemed not useful. James becomes a circus attraction, Gordon becomes a playground, Edward is converted to a scarecrow, and Percy is part of a roller coaster. This is probably the most surreal Thomas song ever written, and I can see why it was not used in the film, as there's really no reason, as the narrator would state it himself. Still though, it is just so bizarre and seems completely out of left field, and kind of creeps you out the more you think about it, but I kind of like it for it. Okay, so now we're already done with these slightly average songs, which is kind of surprising. I thought there'd be more. But now we're starting to get into the even better category. So these are songs I actually would say I do quite like. So let's continue. Number 20. Where Oh Where Is Thomas? This is the first song on the list that was featured on the Great Discovery special. Similar to Calling All Engines, the songs here are used to further the plot. At this point in the story, everyone realizes Thomas has gone missing and everyone is searching around to find him. Kind of like the last entry, this song musically is pretty different from other Thomas songs. Though unlike the Dream Song, which is just pure nightmare fuel, this song kind of goes for a kind of more mystery Sherlock Holmes vibe. Besides that, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but it's just a song that furthers the plot, and you know, fair enough, it does a pretty solid job to me. And I will admit, when that one kid says,
Thomas must be found,
it's kind of corny, a little cringy, but okay, it still gets a little chuckle out of me, so I have nothing against it personally. But yeah, overall, not a bad song. I kind of liked it. Not much else to say. Number 19. Strength. Better get your workout playlist ready, folks, because I have a song for you. No. Okay, yeah, that's fine. In all seriousness, this song is pretty strong. No pun intended. It's more upbeat, and I'll admit, it does get stuck in your head. Unlike other songs where it does have a big drum sound that originally it would be annoying, here it kind of fits it a little bit better, and I will say the guitar solo is a little bit better. I don't know if that's a real guitar or not, but it sounds fine. It kind of fits the mood better. But yeah, solid track. Number 18. Thomas and James Are Racing. Here is another song from the Great Discovery, and it's the first song featured on the special. And, you know, it's a nice song to kind of get things moving, because it's this fast-paced, very catchy song about Thomas and James racing. Although I will admit, we do already have a song about racing in the classic era, but I give that one a pass. But overall, very fun song. Again, there's not much to say about it because it literally is supposed to just further the plots of just setting the stage. But it's a nice little, I guess, I don't know what you call first songs of of musicals or something. It's not really an overture, not really that, but something similar to that. I think it does pretty good in that role. So yeah, excellent track. Number 17. Sounds. Now we're talking about the song that started it all. This is the first song to come out of this new era of the show, and it's actually a pretty nice start. It's a song about engine noises, and honestly not a bad topic to sing about. Not that original, but whatever. I really do like this one. And again, there's a bit of nostalgia I do have for this one. I think the chorus is pretty memorable, and the music itself is pretty decent. And you do hear those engine noises kind of adding to the whole percussion, which I think is implemented fairly well. I will say the tuba is a little bit cheesy, but that's kind of a minor complaint. Number 16. The engine roll call. This could very well be a divisive one, as of course this is the song that replaced the iconic theme song from the original series. In some way, the song has become iconic in its own right. The song will go through many variations throughout its use, even in the CGI era. That all said, I understand for people not vibing with this, especially with how much they shoved it down our throats. But hey, it is kinda catchy. Even if we don't want to admit it, and some of you just really want to get the song out of your head. But it was pretty effective. You know, just a nice wrap up, especially when you watched it on PBS. It was kind of a nice little finale for the show before it would kind of end. And it was just a nice way to kind of finish out, you know, and a good round off with all the characters. So, like I said, I get why people don't like it, but, you know, there's still a little bit of a nostalgia factor that I still really gravitate towards. Again, it will never beat the original theme, but for that era, I think it worked just fine. Number 15. One Friendly Family. Here is a more chill song. There's nothing really fast-paced about it. It's just this kind of, I wouldn't say ballad, but there's a calming nature to it. And you know, the topic of the song is pretty nice, you know, one friendly family referring to just people that you care about, people you vibe with, or just people you love, just all together making a family. And in some way, Thomas and Friends, well, you know, during this era, it did feel like the whole show was really leaning on the whole family aspect of things. And I can see it being very corny and cheesy, and yes, it is. But I don't know, I've always kind of vibed with this track. I can't really put my finger on it, but something about it just kind of makes me feel warm. I don't know if that makes any sense. This might be another divisive placement, because I know there are some people who don't really care for this song at all, but I really do find myself enjoying this song quite a bit. That all said, what the hell is that face? Number 14. Trying to Do Things Better. This is yet another song from Calling All Engines, and it's basically a song about steam engines versus diesel engines trying to one-up each other, basically. And there's not much to say, because yet again, it's another one of those songs that's just supposed to further the plot of the special. Again, there's not much to say about it, but I will say the opening melody is a really good way to start it. And just the cadence just has a very catchy quality to it. It's not like a bouncy rhythm or anything, but again, you're just kind of vibing with it. But I just think it is fairly strong, and I think it's pretty good. So it's number 14. Number 13. Buffer Up and Share. I will say this, even though the song is ranked fairly high, I will not deny the lyrics are cheesy as all hell. With that said though, I really like the melody of this one. I can't put my finger on it, but there's such a feel-good quality behind it. The thing about this era's music is that I don't really know if they're using actual instruments or are they just programmed. That all said, it still sounds pretty fun to my ears. Some things sound fake, but again, the melody, it's pretty strong. Cheesy song, but hey, I guess I just like cheese. What can I say? Number 12. Surprises. Now this one is an interesting one because this is basically this era's accidents will happen. The music video just features a ton of crashes around this time, and again, of course this song will not be better than what came before it, but it's got crashes in it, so I gotta like it. And I will say, the song is pretty catchy in its own right. The chorus is pretty good, it's pretty strong, and yeah, the kids sing it pretty well. Again, you have those horns, which are kind of, they've been pretty hit or miss, I will say, but here it actually is fine. I don't mind it too much. Still, not better than accidents will happen, but, it's fine for what it is. Number 11. Busy. Man, as I get older, this song just becomes more and more relevant. And now we get the first song to be featured on the Calling All Engines soundtrack. And it's a pretty good one to start it off. And just the sound of the music really does emphasize being busy. How hectic or fast-paced everything is. Like, everything's like going faster than you. And I think it's pretty effective. I think Ed Welch did a pretty good job with this one. The song is also pretty catchy, and yeah, I will say, when, of course, I'm in college, I'm working, I have a YouTube channel, and so all that is hard to manage, and it does pretty much feel like my life is very busy. So I guess, especially now, I kind of relate to the song a lot more, which is kind of ironic. But in any case, still, very enjoyable song. This is definitely a good one right here. And entering the top 10, we have There's a Job for Everyone. Here's a song from The Great Discovery once again, and it is a solid one. Again, it's ranked fairly high, but I don't really know why. I feel the reason why I have the song pretty up here is mainly because I just really like the overall vibe of it. It has a really good cadence, kind of has a nice melody that kind of keeps the whole thing moving, and the piano on it is pretty good, and the chorus is pretty strong, another catchy one. Not much to say, but I just found myself really digging it. It's always been kind of the song I always remember the most from that special. Of course, it's not the number one favorite song from that special. We'll get to that later. But in essence, it's still fairly strong, and it does, again, furthers the plot along. So, pretty good. And now, these next 9, I would put in S tier. These are songs I actually really enjoy, and these are songs I do go back to fairly often, I will admit. Every once in a while. In terms of hit era songs, it's songs I go back to fairly often. But still though, let's continue on to number 9. Number 9, Pride. Now, this is a song that is fairly strong, and it mainly comes down how well it starts. Now, this song does have a good structure, as it actually starts with the chorus before it kind of goes into that, I don't know if you would call it a verse, but it's kind of when the song slows down a bit, and then it finally goes back into the main chorus, and it's just really good, the structure they're playing with. And so I gotta commend Ed for that one. And this one has another kind of quasi guitar solo. Again, I don't know if it's actual guitar or not, but still, I think it fits the song fairly well. And it's just a song about taking pride in what you do and just owning it, which, hey, that's a pretty solid moral, I will say. But yeah, it's another one of my favorite songs from this era, and it's number 9. Number 8, Navigation. I don't know why, but this song gives me Rules and Regulation vibes. I don't know why either. I guess they have somewhat of a similar vibe. Rules and Regulation is about, abiding the rules, and navigation is abiding direction. I'm really stretching that. But I don't know. I'm still thinking that over. I really like the upbeat nature of this one. The chorus is really good. Song's pretty upbeat and the chorus is pretty strong, and hey, ducks in it. So, hey, I'll take that. Number 7. The Work Song. This song rocks? Yeah, it starts off with a guitar riff. And actually sounds kind of good. Again, I don't know if it's real or not yet again, but still it's pretty different. And the song in general kind of falls through on that whole rock sort of vein. Not like a hard rock number or anything, but just a good like pop rock sort of thing. And again, I really like the chorus to it, and just the melody behind it is really good, very strong. And yet again, the guitar solo is kind of solid. Nothing amazing, but it suits the song fairly well, and that's pretty much all I can say about these top songs, really. And you know, the songs that are this high, you notice I'm not really saying a whole lot about them. And again, that's another thing about this era song, is that there's nothing like specific to talk about, but they are still kind of well written. I think it's competently composed. The music to these top songs are very well done. They suit and serve the song well. But again, that's the main fault. It's just, even though this era's music is pretty by the numbers, they're still competent. And these top songs are on the top ends of showing that while not amazing songs, they're still well put together and they're pretty effective. So bottom line, that was a whole other tangent, but bottom line, good song. Let's keep going. Number 6, Ode to Gordon. Now we have a really good song spotlighting a character. Unlike one song that does a pretty crappy job at matching the character with the music, this one does a far better job. It's kind of a shame Michael Jr. never made a song about Gordon, because that would have been awesome. However, I do think this song does Gordon justice. I really like how the verses are more calmer, like it's almost building up to something a little bit, but then once the chorus hits, it becomes this big, grandiose, very elegant vibe, and it just sums up Gordon very well. Gordon has always been the big, pompous, very big-headed, very kind of pumps himself up a lot of the time, but I think this whole song really showcases Gordon's grandness, and it's overall a really well done song spotlighting a pivotal character of the series. I mean, Gordon has been around since pretty much the beginning, and it's good that at least the showrunners during that time, they realized Gordon is still an important character, and they really wanted to emphasize that. And overall, I think that Ed Welch did a pretty good job giving Gordon his just due. So, excellent track. On to number 5 now. We're entering the top 5. Number 5. Emily. 2 character spotlight songs back to back. How about that? Okay, so we've talked about divisive songs, but now we're talking about a divisive character. And Emily is one of those divisive ones where I've seen people either really love her and some that really despise her, mainly from Twitter. But any case, I don't know, I never minded her. Now, Emily became a main character of the show really because HiT Entertainment wanted a core female character, and Emily got the bill. And you know, there are some people who really resent that, but like I said, I don't really get the hate for Emily. I mean, yeah, there were episodes that highlighted her kind of pushy nature, but like I said, I never really minded her. I always kind of liked her. I liked her design, and just overall, very, very nice character, and I think she definitely deserves a bit more love. And I think this song does her very well. Again, you get a bit of an elegance to it, which kind of matches Emily's design, especially with the whole giant wheel, because she was based on a Sterling class. And what's kind of nice about the song is that there's still an underlying bit of that snobby personality within, which what the HiT era kind of really hammered on. And it's pretty catchy, so it is a very nice song dedicated to one of the most important female characters of the show, I will say. And yeah, I'll say it here, I'm an Emily fan. I stand with Emily. Fight me. Number 4, Determination. This song is a bop. Now, musically, it has some similarities to Party Time, where in Party Time it failed. This one worked well. And it's just a much more catchier song and just has a good motivating feel to it because it's about determination, trying to overcome obstacles. And this song does a stellar job of really trying to push you like you're trying to run a marathon or something. Also, this probably has the best guitar solo out of all the songs mentioned here. It's energetic, it gets you moving, and it's just a lot of fun. And I will say, this song is kind of badass. Number 3, Patience. I've seen this song get ranked rather low for some. The main complaint I hear is that the song is rather slow and kind of boring to listen to. Well, isn't that the point? The message of the song is saying that you should take it easy and take things slow and just have patience, because patience is a virtue. I guess I can see why, if you like more upbeat songs, more fast-paced songs, I can see why it's not up your alley. But for me, I am a sucker for like slow, kind of more ballady type tracks. And so this song is kind of more up my alley. This is a very chill, very relaxing song. And it just has a good vibe overall. Like if you're just kind of sitting and just kind of looking out the window, or if you're just out in nature, you just play the song and you just feel all soothed. The choir does a pretty solid job with this one. They're not overdoing it, but not underselling it either. It just carries the melody through, and it's just one of those songs I do play quite often, solely because if I want to chill out, this is the song I go for. And so it's pretty high, maybe too high for some, but it's my list, so that's all that matters. But in any case, it's still a really nice song. Number 2, Every Day's a Special Day on Sodor. This song has my vote as the most underrated Thomas song. I don't hear anybody talk about this song very much, or at the very least, they don't really think much of it. But man, I just love the musicianship of this one, mainly the bass playing.
Every day's a special day on Sodor.
Man, that's excellent bass playing. Like again, I am not sure if it's an actual bass they're using or just programmed, but regardless, it has a rather fretless tone to it. It has a full sound and just very melodic. I really enjoy it. That's the big ear candy of the song. And it's another one of those songs where I just purely just like the vibe of it. Again, it's nothing fancy, nothing big or anything, but it's just a good chill song to kind of put you in a good mood. And yeah, I think it's pretty catchy. And you know, this is another song it's mostly about the vibe is what I love about it. It's not in your face. It's more relaxing and just kind of puts you in a good mood. So again, I don't really see many people putting it this high, but that's my thing. So there you go. And my favorite song from the HiT era of Thomas the Tank Engine is...
It's Thomas.
Thomas, You're the Leader. I knew from the gate this was going to be number 1. I clearly remember hearing the song on the Great Discovery DVD and could not get it out of my head. What's significant about this one is that, to my knowledge, this is the first official Thomas song not to be sung by a children's choir. The vocals were done by a guy by the name of Chris Madden. And overall, I think his vocals were pretty good. And musically, it's pretty different because it's basically a rap song. Now on paper, that sounds really stupid, but for some reason, it works for me. And man, is that chorus just so catchy. And you know, another reason why I appreciate this song so much is because it really does feel kind of like a finale. Of course, the show would continue after this and good stuff would come from it. However, this was a finale of Thomas as we've known it. The Great Discovery was the last all-model production of the original show. After this, the show would incorporate CGI until going full computer generated not long after. Gone are the days of watching full live-action models on sets and moving to a whole other era entirely. And there you have it. That is every Thomas hit era song ranked, and man, was this a roller coaster. Now, I'm not going to say this era's music was bad, but there's just something about it that kind of feels out of place. And really, pretty much all the songs, there's an underlying level of manufactured nature to it, which really kind of tampers the whole legacy of Thomas the Tank Engine. Again, like I said, I'll always have a soft spot for the HiT era, but is it gonna be my go-to? No, not really. But there's still some things I do like, and Ed Welch, you made some good songs. You were good for Thomas for that period, and you had some good moments, so good on you. Hopefully, I know he's still alive by the time I'm recording this, so hopefully you're doing good. And hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Again, it was fun talking about Thomas the Tank Engine yet again, and who knows, maybe next year we'll continue in CGI, and should be a much more in-depth discussion. But thank you again for watching. If you enjoy this, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new, if you're a Thomas fan, and if you grew up with this era, please let me know how you would rank these songs in the comments below. And until then, let's all enjoy Thomas's 80th anniversary. See you next time. Goodbye for now.